Good morning, Suidlanders. How are you? We hope that all is well with you. I want to chat to you about something that's not all that important, but probably bears mentioning. Let me just position this microphone better and double check that we are using the right mic. That should be good. Excuse me. Okay, right. And that is my WhatsApp groups. And when I say mine, they're Suidlanders groups. But if I said Suidlanders WhatsApp groups, people might get confused. They might mix them up with other WhatsApp groups run by other people, such as Ernst van den Berg and Oom Jan Snorre, Oom Jan van der Merwe. So I will refer to them, if you don't mind, as my WhatsApp groups. 3 WhatsApp groups. The first one that was ever founded is solely for foreign supporters of Suidlanders. And there shouldn't be any South Africans, any Suidlanders on those groups at all, unless an individual is a great Suidlander, but he's living overseas. Then we put his foreign number on there. And that group is really all about things happening in South Africa and in the world. Important matters pertaining to the conservative Christian Caucasian cause. Matters in common between we Suidlanders and our supporters overseas. And that's quite straightforward. The second WhatsApp group was established as a sort of a thank you to the donors to one of my overseas tours, to keep them informed of what I was doing and where I was going and who I was talking to. And then it was expanded to include Mr. Miller and his family and a couple of other people, 2 of my sons, for example. But it is a donors group. It is for the donors and the donors only. Over time, some other people have come onto that group who did not donate to the original tour, but who have donated to my work, the work that I do, and it's my way of saying thank you to them and including them in some very nice conversations. It's just one of those things. It's just a thank you. It's not really about excluding anybody. It's just about including people who've helped my work in the general thank you. The third group is a group that was established to share the information that we were putting on the foreign group, the first group, with Suidlanders leaders. And part of the reason, or the main reason why I'm doing this video today, is because from time to time, I'm sorry, I woke up with a very sore eyes and a bit of a headache. So I'm sipping Disprin. People contact me from time to time asking for their daughter, son-in-law, friend, wife, husband to be put on that group. And it puts me in a difficult position because we made this clear a long time ago, and we've made it clear since, that group was strictly and solely for Suidlanders leaders. And the reason was, we wanted to, seeing as I was publishing lots of stuff for the foreigners, it seemed nice to include Suidlanders leaders in those conversations. But you have to draw the line somewhere. You can't allow just anybody onto the group. You can't allow just anybody to have access to occasional controversy. So, for instance, it may be that I hold a conversation with foreigners about something that Donald Trump did. Now, generally speaking, overseas, the people who support Suidlanders intensely dislike Donald Trump for many good reasons. I'll give you an example. In late 2019, Donald Trump bragged that the American economy was the best economy in the world and that it was in the best shape it had ever been in. And that was a categorical lie intended to mislead. The fact of the matter is that he made that statement at a time when the central pillar of the American financial system, namely the overnight interbank repurchase agreement system, was collapsing. It was collapsing because the banks lost faith in one another. It's a mechanism by which banks balance their books with the aid of other banks. And it reached the point where I think it was the 13th of November 2019, if I remember correctly, where the banks refused to trade with one another, except or unless the purchasing party, it's a transaction, so one party is the purchaser and one is the seller. The purchasing party paid something like 600%, 6 times more for the overnight transaction than was the norm. So it was very, very, very severe. It was an enormous event. And the Federal Reserve Bank system had to climb in and rescue the overnight interbank repurchase agreement system so that it didn't collapse and lead to the collapse of the entire United States financial system. So it's not about whether I hate Donald Trump, you love Donald Trump, so-and-so says this, so-and-so says that. But from time to time, the conversations that we hold with foreigners are informed very differently than the conversations or than the ideas which many of us might possess about politics in Germany or politics in the United States of America or politics in the European Union. Who's the good guy, who's the bad guy in China, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy in Azerbaijan and Armenia, in that recent conflict. And therefore, we felt that it could lead to controversy if we just let anybody come onto that last group, that third group, that South African Suidlanders leaders group. And so we limited it to Suidlanders leaders, believing that if a controversy came out of it, if a leader was upset by something that we said, it would probably be handled through the right channels. And through those right channels, we would be able to explain to the guy why that conversation was being held on the international groups or international group and being reflected on the third group. I should mention that third group also features a whole lot of stuff that the international group does not get. The second and third groups, the donors group and the Suidlanders leaders WhatsApp group, get all of the Afrikaans stuff that is worth everybody knowing, and they get some other English language stuff which may be a bit boring or trivial for foreigners. They don't want to know about every single thing that happens in South Africa every day, whereas it may be, or you never know, some of it may be irrelevant to you, some to me, some to another guy, and so therefore it's often worth putting a whole bunch of stuff on there, on those two groups that we don't put on the foreigners group. Anyway, that is the long and the short of the story. And I explain this because from time to time I get messages from people, usually, I'm sorry to say this, And I don't mean to embarrass anybody, but 9 times out of 10, people contact me without telling me who they are, which is not, it does make it difficult. And so I just tend to, without meaning to be rude, but because I don't have the time to plead with people to reveal themselves to me, I just ignore their messages. If they're not willing to let me know who they are. Where was I? I was saying, oh yes, because I get all of these approaches saying, please put my cousin and my dog and my whoever else, my boss and my colleague and co-worker and so on the groups, but we won't do that. We will keep all 3 of the groups quite exclusive. And that's the story. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it wasn't too long-winded. Have a very good day, and may the Lord bless and keep you and yours in and through the tricky times that appear to lie ahead of us now. Okie dokes, everybody. Take good care. Bye-bye.